Hello and welcome to Elvenhome. This is, I think, the 8th video in the series, and I promised you an update in 2 or 3 weeks, and I think it's now 4 or 5, but I think quite a bit to tell you about one way or another. As you can see, there's a bit more track. Track has now been laid down over the viaduct that you saw me building in the last one, and what more importantly, we have power. And if I can learn how to use this damn thing, there we go. What you see on the far side, it may be a bit small, is a Bachmann Special Edition 4F in Somerset and Dorset Joint Railway colours. Going around this section of track and just about to go over the viaduct. There's power to this section of track, which is the furthest point of that the power bus goes to. So the good news is that where the droppers go onto is as far as the power bus goes, which must mean that there is power to all parts of the power bus. And I'll come back to that in a moment. Just sort of take you around. One thing you can see in the background there, you'll see that 5-arch viaduct, which is a ratio kit, which I've had trouble with from the moment I put together. I know others have built it and thought it's very, very good. It's okay, but I'm going to replace it. So that is the last time you will see it on the layout. There's a company called ScaleModelScenery.co.uk who do a marvellous bowstring bridge, a laser cut, which I'm going to get and which I think will go there much better, because the Brandywine River, when it goes through there, is not really that wide, and I think I can bring the hillside much closer than it would have been for the viaduct to go across it and just have a bowstring bridge sitting up above the town, and I think that's going to look really tremendous. And when I do this video, about this point, if I manage to work out how to do it, I'll take a screenshot of the bowstring bridge from the website and intersperse it at this point so you can see what it looks like. But they've got quite a lot of good laser cut stuff. I've got some lettering for the sides of buildings and some fence posting, which I'll be putting on shortly. But just to show you how much has been done since the last time you got to see the layout, let me give you a short tour, come in a bit more. When you were here last time, I think I laid track to about here. And the first thing you'll notice is that the turntable has been installed. It's not permanently, the track that's going up to it overlaps, and that will need to be cut back so it can lay a bit lower, but it will need to be helped as it goes up into the turntable. And I've not yet wired up below the turntable, because as the turntable turns, we'll need to do things with the power so it doesn't cause shorts when it goes round. Or worse, not work at all. So the turntable has been put in. I managed to cut the hole there with a handsaw, bending over, and then stood up straight and realised that my back did not like that at all. So that was a few days not doing very much after that. You'd seen much of the rest, I think, of that having been done. I have installed one. Let me take this one off at the moment. One of the wells is now installed on the far side there. Let me see if I can just come in a bit. Oop, wrong way. There we go. So that's had a small trench and it's sunk down, and that's installed ready as one of the roads into the engine shed. And the track now has been bent into shape and pinned for the moment, but not permanently fixed down, because I haven't completely finished, but it's laid all the way round to about there, and then there's another section just laid down there which hasn't yet been joined on, and I've just started yesterday evening to bend into shape that final section to come round to here again. Now what I'm intending to do next is to completely install and wire the double slip and point the turnout that's there, including getting the motors going. Because although, and I think what I'm going to do also is see about using the Pico point motors, but not cutting the hole. You may recall that in an earlier one I mentioned, if I go to here and move that train out of the way, that I was using a technique of cutting a hole in the top of the baseboard and then having a card sit between the point and the point motor that fills the hole, but allows you to connect the point motor directly to the point. But one of the things I discovered after I'd done that for a while is that you have to cut the holes very, very precisely. If we go here, you'll see that there are 3 points that sit there, and each one of them has, you can just see the card there and the hole where it had been cut. If you're even the slightest bit out at end gauge, it makes it very difficult to get everything to fit together. And so in fact the rasp had to come out to enlarge the holes in various places so that the points would sit properly together. So that's just with 3 there. When I look at the total amount of point work that I've got, including double slips in the main board, I can see myself having real problems being able to get all the holes cut absolutely spot on, without actually having the right sort of workbench and things on which you could clamp everything down to do it. So I've reverted. I bought some of the plates that you sit underneath the board, and I'm going to go back to just having a hole for the pin to come up through into the point switch, and see if that works for me. But I do need now to get on with being able to wire the points up, including the point motors with the switches to change the polarity of the frog. And in particular, get my head around how on earth you wire in a double slip. And the beauty is that the little board that I was showing you over the back here, over here, has the advantage that it's easy to move around, and I can do all the wiring and fitting underneath it. And there's still plenty of space. The 1.5 inch gap is still plenty of space to fit everything without, still gives me enough space for the motor sitting below the board. So that won't cause me any real problem. And that's the point at which the main line cuts across the double slip to go into the branch line bay platform, which will come into the station eventually. So the next thing really to be done on this layout is to sort that and finish off that track laying at the end. And I will also, I think, a bit later today, get some power into the far side of the layout where the station platform is, over here. Oh, there we go. Because that is a nice long run between the points. One of the things about DCC, of course, is that all the point motors, all the turnouts, and particularly the double slips, have insulating rail joiners in places. So the moment any of the engines currently go over an insulating rail joiner, of course, all power is lost on whichever line, and some of them it's both lines have lost their power. So that's about it really for this update. I didn't want it to take too long really, because some of my other ones have been, the last one was very long. I didn't realise it was going to be over 20 minutes. That wasn't the point of it at all. But it was one to give you a chance to see that there is actually power in the track, and that we do have to have over the viaduct. We are able to run trains, one of which goes with a very satisfying clickety clack as it goes over some rail joiners where I've not managed to meet it absolutely precisely, but actually that's quite endearing. So I'm going to leave you now. This is just a short update. I hope to come back in perhaps, I'm probably going to try and do updates probably not more frequently than 3 to 4 weeks, unless I do something particularly wonderful that I think I want to share with the world. But with one last look at that viaduct that sits at the back there, and with the opportunity to see an A2 with some Hawksworth coaches go by, I'll say goodbye for now. Please like and subscribe if you don't already, and I look forward to speaking to you again. So thanks for watching, and bye for now.